Trapped in the darkness, African migrant workers endure nightmarish exploitation in Albania. The harrowing accounts from African migrant workers in Albania paint a bleak picture of systematic abuse and dehumanization. These vulnerable individuals, lured by promises of decent wages and one-year contracts, have instead found themselves trapped in a nightmare, their dreams of a better life shattered. Hundreds of workers from Uganda and Nigeria have suffered similar fates, tempted to Albania's growing tourism sector with false promises, only to face unimaginable exploitation. Many report inhumane working hours, unpaid overtime, and the constant threat of deportation if they dare to complain about their treatment. Stripped of freedoms, buried in debt, upon arrival, many are immediately forced to surrender their passports, leaving them stripped of essential identification and freedoms. A Ugandan woman, whose name we have withheld for her safety, recounts her agonizing experience. Like prison, we didn't have any ID, we couldn't move. The 30-year-old beautician had paid a hefty 2,000 euros to a recruitment agency, only to find the promised job unavailable. Forced to undertake menial labor, she was left deep in debt, unable to recoup even half of the exorbitant fees. One 26-year-old Ugandan woman described being effectively imprisoned on the resort premises, forbidden from leaving and only briefly allowed to retrieve her passport when escorted to the bank. Deeply indebted to the recruitment agencies facilitating their travel, these migrant workers are trapped in a vicious cycle, unable to escape. A bleak future for African migrants in Albania. Some of them take loans or sell properties to pay for the immigration opportunity, and most of them live in fear, said Pastor Prince C. Maisie, who has assisted dozens of exploited migrant workers in Tirana. The law, it seems, offers little protection, with employers wielding the power to terminate contracts and deport workers at will. As one NGO worker laments, the system treats these migrants not as human beings but as objects, commodities to be used and discarded at the employer's whim. The darkness enveloping Albania's migrant worker crisis demands urgent action to restore their dignity and fundamental rights. Without intervention, the future for these African migrants in Albania remains bleak, trapped in a nightmare of exploitation and dehumanization.